She was popularly and affectionately known as Queen Bess and Brave Bessie. She went from the fields to the skies to compete in dangerous air shows, becoming the first Black woman to hold a pilot license. Her name was Bessie Coleman, and it all began in the Deep South in 1892. Born on January 26, 1892 in Atlanta, Texas, Bessie was the 10th of 13 children. Bessie's family moved to Waxahachie, Texas when she turned 2 and lived as sharecroppers. When she turned 6, Bessie began attending a segregated one-room school. By the time she concluded elementary school, Bessie had become an outstanding student, excelling in reading and math. When she turned 18, Bessie enrolled in Oklahoma Colored Agricultural and Normal University in Langston. But the money she had saved up to attend college ran out after just one term. After years of working the fields, Bessie moved to Chicago at the age of 24. She lived with her brothers in the city and worked as a manicurist at the White Sox barbershop. While working at the barbershop, Bessie began hearing stories of flying during World War I from pilots coming back home. She was immediately intrigued. Not too long after, she decided to become a pilot. Bessie took a second job at a Chili's parlor to save money for flight school. But there was a problem. At the time, no flight school in the U.S. were admitting women or African Americans. Another option was brought up to Bessie. She could study abroad to get her pilot's license. Robert S. Abbott, a lawyer and a publisher of the Chicago Defender, encouraged Bessie to study abroad. Not only that, he also published about Bessie's ambitions in his newspaper. Bessie then received a scholarship from the newspaper itself and banker Jesse Binga. On November 20, 1920, Bessie traveled to Paris to earn her pilot's license. Bessie Coleman became the first Black woman to earn an aviation pilot's license and the first Black person to earn an international aviation license. When she returned home to the U.S. in September 1921, she was a media sensation. But in order to make a living as a pilot, Bessie would have to enter the dangerous world of stunt flying. Since commercial flights were not in effect yet, Bessie would perform tricks in the air for paying audiences. In order to succeed in this highly competitive arena, Bessie would need more training. Again, nobody in the U.S. was willing to train her, so she had to return to France in February of 1922 to receive more advanced training. After returning back to the U.S., Bessie became a popular attraction at air shows. She mostly flew Curtiss JN-4 biplanes and other Army surplus aircrafts left over from World War I. Bessie's first air show took place on September 3, 1922. The event was honoring veterans of the all-black 369th Infantry Regiment of World War I. The show was a huge success, and Bessie went on to perform at multiple air shows thereafter. Aside from being a talented pilot, Bessie was also an outspoken activist who traveled throughout the U.S. to promote aviation in the African American community. Her aim was to combat racism and bring others into the field she was passionate about. After years of saving money, Bessie was able to purchase her own plane in Dallas, but that plane would turn out to be the source of a tragic ending. Bessie had her mechanic William D. Willis fly the plane she purchased from Dallas to Florida. While en route, Willis encountered several problems with the plane and had to land twice before making it to Florida. He concluded the plane was poorly maintained. Once they learned about the issue with the plane, Bessie's family and friends warned her that the plane should not be flown, but Bessie had an air show to prepare for. On April 30th, 1926, Bessie and Willis took to the skies with Willis flying the plane. About 10 minutes into the flight, the plane unexpectedly went into a dive at 3,000 feet above the ground. Bessie was thrown out of the plane and died immediately upon hitting the ground. Willis died when the plane crashed and burst into flames. Bessie's body was sent to Chicago, where 10,000 mourners attended their ceremonies, which were led by activist Ida B. Wells. Although she was taken from this world with so much yet to accomplish, Bessie's legacy lives on at airports, schools, museums, and more around the country. There's a public library in Chicago named in Bessie's honor, and several roads named after her at airports in Chicago, Tampa, Frankfurt, and Oakland. There are also several Bessie Coleman Scholarship Awards established for high school seniors planning a career in aviation. In 1995, the U.S. Postal Service issued a stamp honoring Bessie. She was inducted into the National Women's Hall of Fame in 2001 and the National Aviation Hall of Fame in 2006.